The shape tools. You can create a variety of shapes with the shape tools. They all have the same ability, so for this demonstration I'm going to show you the rectangle tool. To create a shape, select the shape in the subset. Then click and drag to create the shape. You will notice that the shape is drawn with the top color swatch on top. Also, Photoshop creates a new layer for each shape that is created. So I'm going to show you how we're going to add a shape on here, and then I'm also going to show you what these different functions do when you go to change the color. All right. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what stroke does, how that changes the shape's border, and I'm also going to show you how you can make that a dotted line or dashes. So I'm going to go over here into Photoshop, and what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to choose my rectangle tool over here. Now notice over here I have purple on top, and what happens up here in my options bar is it automatically defaults to purple because that's what's down here in my color swatches. Now this first one, if I hover my mouse over this, this means no color. The second one is fill color. So if I hover my mouse over here and I let it sit for a second, it's going to tell you that it's the fill color. The third one is a gradient color. So if you want a gradient color for your shape, you can choose this one, or you can choose a pattern color over here. And the last one is you can choose a color over here in the color picker window. So, and that once you do that, it's going to automatically bring you back over here to the completely fill. So for this example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what a gradient does. You'll notice that there's some default gradients over here. So it bases the first one and the second one off of what colors that you have over here. So I'm going to choose this one right here. Now let's say I want to add a third color in between this purple and this black. So if I click right in the middle on the lower portion right here, I can click, and if I double click on this little color swatch right here, I can actually choose a color to add in the middle there. I can also move these sliders around. So if I want the red to overtake, I can move that around, or if I want the black. And you'll notice that if you change these little things right here, it'll add more of a gradient to it. And I can also choose whether I want this to be a linear, radial, angle, reflected, or diamond. So I'm going to choose diamond for this one. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to draw a shape. So what this does is it creates a fill color right here, and it actually defaulted to diamond, or I'm sorry, to linear, but I can just simply go up here. So you'll notice over here that this is a smart object, and you know it's a smart object because it has this little square over here in the lower right corner of the preview on the layers panel. Now with it being a smart object, I can edit this at any time. So if I want to decide to change this to reflected, angle, I can do all of that as long as it continues to be a smart object. If I wanted to change this to a pattern fill, I could do that. Again, it's a smart object right now, so it's live, it's an editable function, so I can just simply change that as I need to. The second option up here is stroke. What's great about the stroke is I can choose, stroke is just another word for outline. I can choose no outline, I can choose a solid fill outline, I can choose a gradient outline, I can even choose a pattern outline if I want to. So if I wanted to choose one of these, so right now I have it on gradient, and again I can change this to be radial, I can change this to be angled, and you can see what that does over here. I can change all of that over here because this is a smart object and it's live. So if I click over here, what this does is this actually change, this number right here is the point. So how big is the stroke or outline? So I can change that by simply sliding this, or if I know exactly how big that I want this, I can just type that in there. So if I want that to be 30 points. I can also change this to be a dashed or a dotted line. So you can kind of play around with all of those different functions over there. Now, if I want to change this from being a smart object, if I hold down Control on my keyboard and I say rasterize layer, what this does now is I'm no longer able to edit this. It's now just a regular object in here. So it's not a smart object, so if I click on this, I can stretch it and I can move it, but I can no longer change the shape in it. And you'll notice also that there are, I'm going to apply that transformation there. There's all different kinds of shapes that you can choose from. One of my favorite ones is the custom shape tool. So with the custom shape tool, if you go up here in the options bar, you can choose which custom shape that you want. So if you want a paw print, you can draw a paw print on here. And same thing, you can change all of these options over here. So if you want it to be solid, if you want a gradient, if you want the outside to be solid, you can change all of that just like you can with any other shape.